So I think one thing that I think is really crucial here, right, is we need to look at the bigger picture of where these characters were when they launched and how they are right now after their patches. I also think it's really important to consider not so much the fuses anymore, because I think the game is at a point where, regardless of the fuse that you're using, you depending on how you play, you're gonna get pretty far, right? So I think what we need to just focus on is the assists, the characters, and the tools that these characters have. Does that sound pretty fair? I think that sounds pretty fair. Okay. So Caitlyn started off pretty trash. She started off pretty trash. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I would say that with Caitlyn, when she got her fixes, I think what really makes her good is that she is a punishable character, but she is able to maintain control of the mid screen very, very well. For me, a character who can be just as strong as a point character versus being an assist character is something that will determine whether or not they're in S tier. And I feel that with Caitlyn, she's actually an A tier for me. I think she's a very good character. I think that she has a lot of I think that after she got her fixes, she is in a really good spot where I don't think she's bad, and I don't think that I think she's good, really. I don't think she's a bad character at all, not compared to those to before when she launched. So I would say Caitlyn is in the A tier for sure. Akali. You see, my thing about Akali is that right now she's dedicated to specific fuse synergies. Not fuse synergy, sorry. Specific combinations. So I actually think that right now it's a little bit early to call her an A tier. I would say she's an A tier, but I think right now she's so dependent on who you use her with that if you're not like someone who likes to explore or who really is good at like her execution and things like that, I think she's someone that she actually belongs in B tier for now. I think she can be A tier, but right now I think she fits on this B tier very much so. Again, I feel like she has really good close-ups. She's a glass cannon character, so she does rely heavily on having a character that supports her assist-wise. I don't think that makes her bad. I just think that that's just one of those things where she's just relying too much of outer layers and not enough on her own, so to speak. Darius. This one's interesting. I still feel Darius is really strong, and I feel like Darius is in a position where he has such good buttons. They buffed, of course, the big bodies. This is known as the big body patch, right? So I do think that right now Darius for me is actually an S tier, but this is going to be ordered S tier. I want to point that out too. This will be ordered S tier. So what I mean by that is that this is going to be, you're going to see why I put him here, because I think that for a big body character, he has enough health, he has great buttons, he has great damage, regardless of the fuse and styles that you're having. He can combo very well with anybody. And then on top of that, I also believe that the fact that he has that movement that makes him annoying in this game with like the jump backs, the air contestations, are contesting. Darius just fits a build that I think he's just really good character. I get that people could be like, oh, you could just like bait him out, or oh, you know, it's just Darius. It's not really, that's not the point. It's more so that he's just a good character, and he has a great assist too. He has one of the best assists in my opinion in the game. So I think he's up there. Good morning, Yaya. So going back down here, Ekko. Now originally we had Ekko in S tier. We had Ekko in S tier. So with Ekko's nerf, I believe he's in S tier. But I also feel like that's just a little bit of bias. And that he's actually right now in A tier. The reason I say this is that his nerf was so significant. And I agree actually with you, Sammy. I think he's a bottom S tier, but I'm gonna put him in A tier for now because it is such a significant change to the nerfs that he was given that it makes it almost feel like, yeah, he got normalized so harsh that now people are starting to consider different choices for putting him on the screen. So I agree with this. I agree that this is Ekko here. Yasuo also falls in this same boat here. I think Ekko is still better than Yasuo in my opinion, but Yasuo is also still a very significant character where I think he's just good. He's just, he will always be a good character. He was definitely like significantly nerfed, and in my opinion, where his top elite status is definitely not the same. But I feel like how the last patches of balance has come, especially considering that like Fury, for example, has also been something that was also pretty much hotfix, right? I feel like these two characters, Ekko and Yasuo, they will always be in like the same position unless something drastic really happens. And Yasuo is a character that will still be good. He's just not broken. He was normalized, he was fine-tuned, and I think that I'm okay. Let him stay in this tier. Don't go above, don't go below. Just leave him as is there. And again, he still has a great combination, great synergy with different characters, different pieces. Damage is still pretty good. You don't need to touch his health because he's much more of a neutral character. I feel like Yasuo is really good right now. Ahri? I'd be lying to you guys if I didn't say that Ahri was... I want to say she's A tier, but I know she's really in S tier. Hold on. She's in S tier. And she's before Darius. Ahri is the best character in the game. There's no doubt about it. I can't be biased here. I gotta be honest, and I have to agree. She's an S tier character. No matter how many nerfs they've given this lovely, beautiful fox creature, she has continuously been good every single time. Slap her on any team, and that team becomes so godlike. Damage is still really good. Movement is very annoying. I think that's one of the things they are gonna nerf her, because that's what they did to Ekko, right? They nerfed Ekko's movement as well, especially overall when the big body patches came out, right? So Ahri needs to be nerfed in a sense where she's too good. She's too good right now. I love it. So Riot, if you're watching, I love it. It's these guys that are you know, need a little bit of a crutch. But yeah, I would definitely say that this is where we're gonna put Ahri. I'm gonna be so for real. Warwick is D tier. Warwick's not even C tier. It's crazy to me how in season 0 they gave Warwick, they overtuned him, right? They overtuned the heck out of him. And I always said that because when he launched, I was like, this is a very good character. I don't think you need to do much to this character. Like, this character is as honest as it can be. I think this is a very solid A tier character. If you tune too much, he's gonna be broken. They did that. They made him where he had a really good button, good damage. You could even get like the OS of like the grab right after you got a knockdown, and it was working out. But then of course people were like, this is too much. You know, Frosties happened. Yaya got Warwick nerfed because he was beating people with Warwick, and the Riot Games hate Yaya, and so they nerfed him. They nerfed his buttons. They nerfed his hitbox, and this is where I feel like they did too much to him. And it's really unfortunate because, again, he was launched really well, but I think he's just not good. On any team that you put him in right now, you have to be a very unique player to make him stand out. And for example, I think of like Dapper Dinosaur, who does Warwick Juggernaut. It's not that he's not, like, he can't do it. It's just, it takes a loyalist to actually really make this character work, and it's sometimes too much. I see games of Dapper Dinosaurs where I'm like, yeah, you should have probably won that, but because of how Warwick is, it just doesn't work out, right? Teemo. So Teemo, I actually think he's a legitimate B tier character. The reason I think that he's a B tier character is because the nerf that they gave and the fixes that they gave to him actually made him easier to deal with. And he does rely on a really good synergy with specific characters. Mushrooms is not as of a problem. I feel like more people have figured out, okay, I just need to knock out the mushroom and call it a day. And people now have like the buttons to deal with that, right? I also feel too like we're not seeing Teemos actually go for like, you know, random, you know, level 2 mushrooms just to cover bases there. They actually have to like really think about it because, you know, they need to set up for it. Thank you for the follow, Dartendo. So I think with Teemo, he's a unique character, but I think he's a legitimate B tier character. Do I think he needs to get tuned up? No. I think Teemo as is can stay, because I think you can still win tournaments with Teemo. I just don't think that you can just get away with stuff with him like he used to. And it's true, now you have to mix between the zoning and the rushdown. And Super Noon did get second at EVO Japan with Teemo. So it's one of those things where it's like, don't touch Teemo anymore. You don't need to touch him anymore. You really, really don't. He's pretty good there. Keep him good there. You know what I'm saying? So I think right there, in Teemo's case, I think that he's pretty good. Akali's gonna be over him, because I like I said, I feel like Akali is in a, I feel like it is one of those things where like Akali's just not yet fully defined, and just because she just came out. Darius in S, Teemo in B. Is this a list for lower ranks or something? That's so funny. No, that's my honest opinion. Illaoi. Illaoi is actually up here, and she's up here. Hold on, she's up here with Darius. She got buffed. She was always good, right? but I feel like even with minor adjustments, she's one of those. Yo, I can't wait for this to go on Twitter. Y'all are gonna cook me. I feel like Illaoi, with the buffs to the big bodies, she really took advantage of that. I also feel like she pairs well with just like anybody. She has just like overall good buttons. She has one of the best assists in the game. She has one of the best last stand assists in the game. She has the damage. She had the tentacles on setups is also just as strong as I feel with her. And overall, I just think she's really good. Do I think she's better than Ahri? No, because Ahri still maintains like that really dominant moveset. Oh my god, yo. Yaya, I'm about to ban you, Yaya. You are pissing me off so much. It's crazy. What is my elo? Yaya caused me to get deranked to Emerald. However, I'm actually Diamond and I was in Masters last season. I just keep getting messed up because the ranking system is harsh. So, technically Diamond if you want to put this current season, but Yaya deranked me because yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I would say that's the case. Vi's a tough one. Season rank 0 is inflated. I don't know, it was still pretty sweaty in my opinion, but whatever. It is not my fault. It was your fault. You made me crash out. I'm gonna tell you I am AI generated. Good morning, Go Baller. Good morning, good morning. I literally in 4K is really funny because I'm actually streaming at 4K, but anyways. Vi's tricky for me. Because taking my own bias and struggles aside, I really feel like she's a good character. But I think she has room to either be one of the worst characters or one of the greatest characters. Yeah, I mean, I could explain again, Warwick and Darius. So, with Warwick, I'm also basing this too with my previous tier list, which is on the red platform if you wanted to see my season 0 tier list. The reason with Darius, let's start with Warwick. I feel like with Warwick is just he's not good compared to when he launched, got a buff, and then when they nerfed him, I feel like he's gone to such extremes. And in my personal opinion, and again, this is just my opinion, guys, so all I ask is that you just kind of like respect and you kind of just, you know, understand, like you just hear me out. You don't have to agree with me, just hear me out. I think with Warwick, when he was released, I think he was in what I call the A tier good spot. He's a good character. You don't need to go overboard. You don't need to go under. If you do any fixes to him, it should be in line more to like match whatever the system or whatever the mechanics are, right? So I feel like when Warwick came out, he matched that. He was fine with that. Then they had buffed him, and I'd have to go directly to the patch notes to be specific to it, but I know when he got buffed, one of the things I used to see a lot is like, for example, that the option select to go ahead and not option select, the setup for after after you knock down an opponent, you can go for like a grab, and it was like pretty much like a repetitive loop. Like it was just a constant, like you had to guess. I also felt like when he did his overhead, right? It was so strong, right? But it made him really good, okay? But then when they nerfed him and then they made that overhead into a mid, his guessing game no longer becomes a fear. Plus, depending on how what block string you do, you could just 2H that and call it a day. Or you could just parry that. You could even push block that. You could even just block it and it's still pretty punishable. Both the overhead and then the low that he does. So right now, unless you have a really good assist or a good character like covering you with Warwick by himself is struggles. There's only one person, Dapper Dinosaur, who I've seen make Warwick work, especially with the Juggernaut fuse. Okay? I can't see anybody else really do that unless they're a loyalist. Unless there's someone that just genuinely wants to invest into the character and do that. I'm actually also going to even go further because Yaya is my duo and Yaya has played Warwick with my characters. While there's times where Warwick has definitely helped win games, when we go up against people who know the matchup and who know the character, I would say on not even a pro level. We're not talking about pros. I'm just talking about someone who naturally just labs their situation and learns the matchup, right? Like a normal average player that just took the time to learn. Yaya has more trouble opening up people when I don't have the ability to cover him for that. Yes, I do. Or Horizon. I do. That one frame has made it harder for Warwick players to open people up, and you're only getting away with it when you're in the lower ranks. Or when you have someone who doesn't know how to deal with Warwick at all. So I think right now he's not a good character. And I think that his neutral is very reliant on a lot of risk, and he's not getting the only reward that he's getting is the bloodlust meter, and not even blood. That's another thing. Warwick's bloodlust doesn't even make me scared. There's times I look at Yaya and I'm just like, you're gonna fail Bankai. You're gonna fail Berserker mode, as we call it. Right? I think, and that was another thing too. When he launched, you were scared to get into that Berserker mode. I remember I was like, okay, I don't know how I'm gonna handle this. I don't know how this is gonna work. He's gonna do some crazy stuff, and then I'm gonna get messed up. And then when they buffed him, that was even double the fear. Now, that's not even a fear happening now. So I think that because of that is why I think he's not a good character. Also add. Oh, I think it should be done. Let me know when you guys are back so I can tell you about Darius. And this one, you might disagree with me with it. And this one I will take with the agree to disagree. Okay? I will take this one with the agree to disagree. Darius, for me, ever since his reveal in Alpha, there was one particular version of Darius in Alpha Lab 2 that I was like, if this is gonna be Darius when he gets into the game and the game is fully out, he's gonna be a problem. And while he's not been there just yet, sorry, my apologies, Alpha Lab 1. Alpha Lab 2 was actually what I preferred Darius at. He's not at the level that he was because the bleed has been significantly nerfed. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really worry about bleed. Bleed is not his strong, it's part of his kit, but it's not his strongest part of his kit, if that makes sense, in my opinion. What I have a problem with Darius is that he is one of the characters that for someone like me who has two glass cannon characters, Yasuo and Ahri, with Yasuo being just a tiny bit beefier, I get hit and my HP bar is gone. Take a double down Darius and Vi and I'm screwed. Take a Darius and Illaoi, I'm screwed. Take a Darius and even a Teemo and I'm screwed. Okay? I feel that Darius has damage. So that alone, okay, that's 1 point. Darius also has some of the best buttons that can contest literally Ahri and Yasuo, who technically have good buttons. He can actually keep up with Ahri's air movement or keep her like grounded, in my opinion, and also beat a lot of the buttons that Yasuo tries to throw out in neutral, which technically Yasuo is supposed to be the better person in neutral because I feel like he's a neutral character. So a lot of the times I get checked a lot by the Darius hitbox. I also think that in the last patch, or in the last couple of balance patches, the fact that you now have to four-way guess his, excuse me, his, what is the word for it? There's a word, I know what it's called. It's not aggrieve. It's not assault. I don't think it's assault. Apprehend. It's the one where his axe, the hook, yeah, it's his hook. The fact that you cannot parry that as you used to before, and you have to guess if he's gonna charge, really bugs me. It bugs the hell out of me because it's really hard to go through that. Your best answer is push block, but what if you don't have push block available, right? Then he's just gonna do it. And he's gonna choose whichever. Sometimes you feel like you want to jump, but then you can't jump because if you jump, you're gonna get clipped. And it's just a really aggravating time. And I do think he has the best assist in the game. I think that his assist is probably one of the best compared to the fact that it's like a forward charge and you can literally get a free wall bounce after it. You can use it as a hit confirm. You can literally use it as a way to contest neutral. It is one of those things where like, he's just good. He's not at the top of S here, and I just want you guys to give me a chance to explain that, right? Because right now, I technically out of every character, he's a bottom S tier bridging on A tier. I don't put him on A tier because truth be told, the way that these seasons have been, and even with like the Fury hotfixes, he's still a good character, no matter who you put him with. So that is why I say that Darius belongs in S tier. Vi also belongs in A tier for right now, but she's on the cusp of either being really good or really bad. Because with Vi, her thing is, it's just dependent on how she frames it. Also, she could just like charge punch and she can get away with that. She has, if I had to point out who had the better risk and reward, she has a better reward for a lower risk compared to Warwick that has a higher risk and a little bit of a reward. She doesn't have the charge punch tag anymore, but she's still a very strong character, in my opinion. Jinx was also another character, and she is, yo, I think Jinx is on the cusp of being S tier. If they buff her one more time, mark my words, we are gonna have a problem. Listen, Yana, just because you're bad at Jinx doesn't mean that Jinx is not good. Okay? Alright? Jinx can't even play with Caitlyn? Have you not have you not been playing with me properly? Better than Caitlyn is straight F cap? I think she is. because she has a more projectile. Well, one, her super assist. Her super assist is one of the best, I feel, for zoning, like projectiles. So one of the best projectiles. Not the best out of everything, but one of the best projectiles. Yeah, you just carry on. You like, dude, you. Oh my lord, or whatever. So with Jinx, I also feel like she has such a better control between zap, laser. What she struggles is damage. She doesn't have crazy damage unless she does her level 3. That's where I feel like she can be a bit struggle. I will say this. She's right with Caitlyn. She's not better than Ekko and better than Yasuo. She's right here. She's 100%. She has a solo double super. Yeah, she could do level 1 over and over again. But like I said, she's not a character where I would say that like she's right now in a position where, again, one more buff and she's gonna be too strong. Just watch. I promise you. Teemo should be in prison. That's so funny. Teemo with war crime. Jinx often needs to rely on her teammate to help her set up. Yeah, I mean, I could understand that. I feel like I think of, though, I feel like when it comes to Jinx, she just doesn't have the damage. And I feel like she just knowledge checks more than what Caitlyn does. I personally feel they're right on the same level. That's just my opinion. But I think it just depends on, like, I don't know. I feel like I have a better time playing against Caitlyn than I do Jinx. Braum. Braum's interesting. Because a part of me wants to put him in S tier. And I am gonna do it. I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna do it. Braum in S tier is because he can either be really bad, or as far as like, as long as you never get him the door. If he never gets the ice door, you're fine. But the minute that you get the ice door, that's when it becomes a problem. I really feel like with Braum, it's been a lot harder to contest Braum than it has been with any other big body, in my opinion. And I think that that's something, yeah. Without it, he's A. That's why I feel like he's definitely a bottom. He's kind of like with Darius on that sense. Very much a bridge line between the two. Like, you're either going to get a really good Braum that's going to be able to secure Ice Shield every single time, or you're going to get a bad Braum who's just not able to keep Ice Shield for whatever the case may be. And it's not, you know what's funny is I don't think it's reliant on the synergy of a team. I think it's just more so on the player. The other thing I was going to say is that his assist is one of probably the strongest assists in this game. There is no doubt about it. And then for Blitzcrank, I think he's a bit higher than Braum. Which is kind of crazy because I was saying in the last season that Blitzcrank was one of the worst characters in the game. And I really feel, listen, just hear me out. Please just hear me out. I really think that this character, I really think you haven't fought Quainty. You haven't fought Quainty, and you haven't fought Tate. Okay? I really feel like Blitzcrank is a really strong character. Okay? If I had to give you one character that is just out of control and just like really frustrating to deal with, it is Blitzcrank. I disagree with you. I feel like a lot of Blitzcrank players, when they put their minds to it and they have the right team synergy, really good. All right, that's my tier list. Y'all can disagree or agree. Y'all can let me know in the comments below, because I'm gonna put this on the Rip platform. But this is my tier list. Just deal with it, okay?